2 weeks ago, a major winter storm covered central Pennsylvania with almost a foot of snow, causing travel headaches, road closures, and Penn State to cancel classes for almost 2 days. In central Pennsylvania, the snow began on Thursday morning and continued throughout the afternoon, falling at 1 to 2 inches per hour at times before changing over to sleet and freezing rain during the evening hours. A switch back to snow on Thursday night allowed for additional snow accumulations, and when all was said and done, State College officially received 11.5 inches of snow. A snowstorm of this magnitude in State College is rare, especially during the month of November. This storm is one of only 4 double-digit November snowstorms on record in State College and is the biggest snowfall in State College since February 2010, which was over 8 years ago. I sat down with Bill Syrett, a professor of meteorology at Penn State and the manager of the Joel Myers Weather Center, to discuss how this snowstorm formed and its rarity for this time of year.
That particular storm was fairly rare. We have about 130 Novembers that we've looked at, and that was the 4th largest snowstorm on record for the month of November. So nearly a foot, which that ranks up there. Made us smile.
The last time State College received over 6 inches of snow from one storm during the month of November was 23 years ago, all the way back in 1995.
We had 18 inches, and I still remember the trees cracking and branches breaking from that one.
Where winter storms form and in what direction they move in play a big role in determining what type of precipitation will fall across the Northeast and exactly how much of it.
The storm track was, we'll get our biggest snows usually when they kind of hug the coast and draw a lot of moisture off the Atlantic. This one didn't really do that. It was more coming in from the west, but the upper level track was good. The centers of low pressure above us all went to our south, and that's usually a good recipe for prolonged heavy snow.
The center of low pressure high up in the atmosphere, called the upper level low, tracked into the Ohio River Valley and helped spawn a center of low pressure that was much lower in the atmosphere near the surface. This lower level center of low pressure tracked up the Atlantic seaboard and merged with the upper level low over New England. The low pressure system as a whole intensified, causing heavy snow bands to form and the storm to dump plenty of snow across the Northeast. Variability in the tracks of these centers of low pressure created uncertainties in forecast a few days before the storm.
Being State College, it's smart to be conservative with your forecasting because oftentimes we underperform here. But this one, by 2 days before, had me kind of excited with that. Just the upper level low, that's kind of key here. And there was a very strong high to our northeast. Good overrunning surface, good heavy snowfall.
Overrunning occurs when warm air is lifted over much colder air, causing condensation and then precipitation to fall. The strong center of high pressure that was stationed over northern New England supplied the cold air that was necessary for overrunning to occur, which increased the amount of snow that fell. Additionally, the different precipitation types that fell during the storm, such as snow, sleet, and freezing rain, were caused by both conditions at the ground as well as up in the atmosphere.
Because a very thick layer of the atmosphere was right around the freezing or melting point. And so any vertical motion would cause cooling and heavy snow. And when that vertical motion kind of let up, then we'd go to sleet and some freezing rain. We would have been well over a foot if it had stayed all snow, but nonetheless, it was a good storm with 1.5 inches of liquid, healthy.
November has felt very winter-like across the Northeast, with multiple winter storms dropping record snowfall amounts and temperatures between 2 and 8 degrees below average for this time of year throughout the month. I asked Bill if these cold and snowy November conditions would have any correlation to what the rest of the winter has in store.
There's some weather folklore. I heard Fred Godomsky actually say about cold Novembers, and it oftentimes is proven true that a cold winter will follow. I don't put much stock in long-term forecasts, but I think before, a month or two earlier, there was a majority of forecasts were for a warm winter, I think, and I think that's trending colder. So.
Will you be hoping for a cold and snowy winter, or would you much rather prefer a mild winter with not a lot of snow? For the first few weeks of December, temperature probability outlooks are forecasting the chilly trend that we've seen throughout November to continue. But will these cold temperatures stick around for the majority of the winter? That's something we'll have to wait and see. For Weather or Not, I'm Jacob Morris.